First, let's set the scene. On August 23, 2025, at a Knokx Pro Wrestling event in Sun Valley, California, streamed live on Kick, Raja Jackson, the son of former UFC champion Quinton Rampage Jackson, entered the ring during Stuart's Syko Stu Smith's match. What was supposed to be a scripted payback spot turned into a brutal, real-life assault. Jackson slammed Smith to the mat, knocking him unconscious, and then unleashed over 20 punches to his head and face. Smith, a U.S. Army veteran who's been battling PTSD since his service ended in 2009, ended up in the hospital with severe injuries. Broken facial bones, lost teeth, and head trauma that left him in stable but critical condition initially. The LAPD is investigating. Jackson's Kick account got banned, and the wrestling community is in uproar. From a lawyer's perspective, this isn't just a mishap. It's potentially aggravated assault or even attempted murder. Now, to understand why this screams criminal charges, we need to reconstruct the timeline step by step. This is based on verified sources like the livestream video, witness interviews, and official statements. Earlier that day, backstage, Smith, in character as Syko Stu, approached Jackson, mistaking him for part of the show, and smashed a beer can on his head as a promo stunt. Smith apologized repeatedly once he realized the mistake, shook hands multiple times, and even agreed to a ring payback spot to make it right. Witnesses like Douglas Mallow confirmed this was a misunderstanding that got resolved amicably. Then, before the match, Jackson was overheard on a phone call saying he was going off script and planning to hurt him, meaning Smith. Another wrestler, Andre Joel Hudson, advised giving Smith a receipt, which in wrestling lingo means a retaliatory strike, but nothing extreme. During the match, Jackson enters the ring, hoists Smith overhead, slams him down hard enough to render him unconscious, and then starts punching him relentlessly, over 23 times by some counts, while Smith is completely motionless. Other wrestlers had to intervene and restrain Jackson. In the immediate aftermath, Smith needed CPR and was stretchered out by paramedics. Jackson left the venue bloodied and yelling on the phone. Post-incident, Smith was hospitalized. His brother Andrew provided updates, saying he was stable but critical, with a long recovery ahead. Rampage Jackson issued a statement calling it a work gone wrong, but Knokx Pro Wrestling condemned it as heinous. The LAPD is on the case. To make this clearer, here's a timeline table for reference. Time frame: earlier that day backstage. Event: Smith smashes a beer can on Jackson's head as a promo, apologizes repeatedly, shakes hands, agrees to payback spot. Key evidence: livestream footage shows apologies and handshakes. Douglas Mallow confirms misunderstanding. Legal implication: establishes initial provocation but also resolution, undermining any self-defense claim. Smith's actions were performative. Jackson's response was not. Time frame: pre-match, phone call. Event: Jackson overheard saying he's going off script and plans to hurt him. Hudson advises a receipt. Key evidence: audio from stream, Mallow's interview with USA Today. Legal implication: suggests premeditation, a key element for attempted murder. Intent isn't spontaneous, it's planned. Time frame: during the match, ring assault. Event: Jackson slams Smith, rendering him unconscious, then delivers 23+ punches. Wrestlers intervene. Key evidence: viral Kick video. Multiple angles show Smith unresponsive. Legal implication: core guilty act. Use of force likely to cause great bodily injury. Continued punches imply malice. Time frame: immediate aftermath. Event: Smith gets CPR, stretchered out. Jackson leaves yelling. Key evidence: Mallow's account, family Facebook posts. Legal implication: demonstrates injury severity. Jackson's flight infers guilt. Time frame: post-incident, hospital and statements. Event: Smith in stable but critical condition with broken bones, lost teeth. Rampage calls it a work gone wrong. Knokx condemns. LAPD investigates. Key evidence: brothers updates, GoFundMe, official statements. Legal implication: medical evidence supports great bodily injury. Conflicting statements create tribal issues. This timeline shows how things escalated from a scripted bit to unscripted violence, with Jackson as the clear aggressor. Breaking down the evidence further, because in a courtroom, evidence is everything. First, the video evidence. The Kick livestream captures it all in real time. Frame by frame, you see Smith go limp after the slam, yet Jackson keeps punching. This isn't payback, it's a beating. Courts love video like this. It's direct proof of intent, similar to cases where sustained attacks show malice. Medical evidence. Smith's injuries include severe head trauma, broken facial bones, lost teeth, and he reportedly flatlined briefly, though later updates clarified he was stable. Hospital records via family updates indicate life-threatening risks, and experts could link those punches to potential fatal outcomes, strengthening an attempted murder charge. Witness testimony. Douglas Mallow, who jumped in to stop it, said Jackson would have killed him if not restrained, and noted CPR was needed. Other wrestlers confirmed the spot was for a single receipt, not a barrage. Smith's backstage apologies weaken any provocation defense. Circumstantial evidence. Jackson's MMA training means he knew how lethal head strikes can be. His recent concussion might suggest impaired judgment, but that doesn't excuse recklessness. It could even elevate charges. The phone call about going off script screams premeditation. And don't forget the victim's background. Smith is a PTSD-suffering veteran who used wrestling as therapy. Attacking someone so vulnerable could lead to sentencing enhancements under California law for targeting the vulnerable. Of course, for balance, there are counterpoints. Rampage claims promoters encouraged the payback, and Jackson had concussion. Knokx denies this, calling it reprehensible. Defenses might argue consent or heat of passion, but the video shows disproportionate force. From a lawyer's viewpoint, we're looking at charges under California Penal Code. Assault and battery as basics, unlawful touching with force. Aggravated assault for force likely to cause great injury, up to 4 years in prison. But attempted murder? That requires specific intent to kill, an overt act, and failure to complete it. Here's how it fits in a table. Element: specific intent to kill. Evidence: sustained 20-plus punches to head after unconsciousness. Premeditated off-script plan. Why it fits: inferable from actions. Courts use natural consequences doctrine. Element: overt act toward killing. Evidence: slam plus punches. Malo said would have killed him. Why it fits: beyond preparation. Direct causation to injuries. Element: failure to complete attempt. Evidence: intervention stopped it. Smith survived but flatlined briefly. Why it fits: penalty could be 5 to 9 years or life if willful. Prosecuting this: I'd argue it's more than a misdemeanor. It's a felony. Defenses like self-defense don't hold because the backstage issue was resolved. Consent for scripted events doesn't cover real harm, as seen in wrestling liability cases. Now, the big question: why should Jackson go to jail? Here's a detailed list of points. Point 1. Premeditation and malice. The phone call shows planning. Jail Dieter's calculated violence in public venues. Point 2. Excessive, lethal force. Over 20 punches to a motionless victim. Fists as weapons. As an MMA fighter, he knew the risks. This warrants incarceration for public safety. Point 3. Victim vulnerability. Attacking a PTSD veteran in his therapeutic space exacerbates trauma. Courts enhance sentences for this. Point 4. No valid defense. Not self-defense. Not fully scripted. Probation isn't enough. Jail ensures accountability. Point 5. Public harm and deterrence. Live streamed to thousands. Sets a dangerous precedent in wrestling and MMA. Jail prevents copycats. Point 6. Recklessness despite warnings. His recent concussion made it risky. Ignored for ego. Indicates need for rehabilitative custody. Point 7. Aggravating circumstances. Flight from the scene. Lack of immediate remorse. Supports maximum sentencing. Point 8. Societal impact. Smith's GoFundMe raised over $150K, with donations from Mr. Beast and Chris Jericho, showing community outrage. Jail upholds justice for veterans. Point 9. Comparison to similar cases. Like UFC's War Machine getting life for assaults, sustained attacks lead to prison. Point 10. Long-term consequences. Smith's recovery disrupts his life and career. Jail allows for restitution. In summary, while some see this as a mishap, the evidence points to criminal intent that demands jail time. Prosecutors should push for attempted murder, given the gravity, potentially 5+ years. This incident highlights the blurry line between entertainment and crime. Justice means holding people accountable. If you're watching this and want to support Syko Stu, check out his GoFundMe linked in the description. What do you think? Should Jackson face jail? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe for more breakdowns like this. Thanks for watching.